What's up guys, Matt from TeamVLR here. Before I start the video, I just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor 401 Games. If you guys are in the market for anything Yu-Gi-Oh related, whether it's singles, sealed product, or anything else really, be sure to check out their website 401games.ca. And if you are looking for singles, be sure to use code TeamVLR to get 10% off your purchase. It supports the channel and we'd really appreciate it. Now anyways, onto the video. So in today's video, doing something a little bit different. The Eternity Code set list got released last week for the TCG, so we learned about all the imports and all the new cards we're getting. And I want to do something a little different because other channels are going to do like top 5 lists of the best cards from the set, or in an entire analysis of the set. But I just want to do something a bit different and look at the top 5 underrated cards that are coming out of the set. So these are cards that I believe that people are kind of sleeping on or just sort of overlooking or have a lot of potential for the future. These are cards you might just want to pick up a few extra copies of, and they also won't be that expensive because most people aren't really looking at these cards. So the cards I'm not going to be talking about are things like Mech Knight Orcus Gearsu, the new Dino card, Parallel Exceed, Link Cross, things like that. We already know what they're going to do. We know they're going to make an impact, so they don't really count as being underrated at all. So we'll be looking at some of the other things that I haven't heard as much chatter about. And before I start this, I just want to say this is completely objective, completely factual. There's no bias whatsoever. And if you disagree with me, well, you're wrong. So let's get into it. So coming in at number 5 is Gizmek Uka, the Festive Fox of Fecundity. I don't even know how to pronounce that. It's new Gizmek. So it's a level 7 Earth Machine, 2250 attack and defense, and it reads, each time your opponent normal or special summons a monster, inflict 300 damage to them. You can only use each of the following effects of Gizmek Uka, the Festive Fox, whatever, once per turn. If a monster is special summoned from the main deck, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, special summon one monster from your hand or deck whose attack equals its own defense with a same attribute as that monster, or with the same attribute as that monster. So, this is probably arguably the worst Gizmek out of the 4 that are in the TCG right now, and I guess the 5th if you include the new water one that got unveiled in the OCG. It's neat. It's got good typing and a good attribute being an Earth Machine. Its level is alright, it's level 7. The one thing it has going for it, because the rules here in TCG, is that first effect. So each time your opponent normal or special summon a monster, inflict 300 damage to them. Neat. It seems like a cheeky thing to use in time. This would be cute for the mirror match, I guess. If you're playing a mirror match, it could see side play, but again, I think there's a reason why this isn't as hyped as Gizmek Orochi or Gizmek Kaku. It's just not as good as those. The summoning condition isn't as good because it needs a monster special summon from the main deck. Mind you, if you special summon something from the main deck, you can summon this as well, so that's kind of neat. And that second effect is reliant on your opponent, so it could be a cute side card for the mirror match. It is a secret rare, but I don't think it's going to be that expensive, or it might be because it is mech, who knows. But I do think this card has future potential depending on the format that we're in, and that's sort of the whole idea of this, a list like this. Alright, so moving on to number 4, we have Noctovision Dragon, which is a Dark Dragon, level 7, 0 attack, 2800 defense, and it reads, when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a face-down card you control, quick effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard, negate that effect. Also, your opponent cannot target that face-down card with card effects for the rest of this turn. You can only use each of the following effects of Noctovision Dragon once per turn. If a Dark Dragon monster is special summoned to your field, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is sent to the graveyard as link material, you can draw one card. Okay, so what does this card have going for it? It is a Dark Dragon, which is, it has the best attribute in the game and one of the best typings in the game, Neat. And it's a level 7, also kind of nice. But what are the effects we're looking at that make this card neat are the bottom 2 effects. So if a Dark Dragon monster is special summoned to your field, you can special summon this card from your hand, which is really easy to do, especially with one of the, I guess, better decks right now, which is Rockets. They special summon Dark Dragons all the time. The majority of that deck is Dark Dragons. Fantastic. And then the second effect, if this card is sent to the graveyard as link material, you can draw a card. So it effectively replaces itself, helps you maintain advantage. It's an extender and it gives you a draw. Great. It also has that neat, cute bonus effect that isn't really that important, but could potentially come up. And honestly, that's nice. It's just nice to have that effect. It's not the focus of the card, it's not the best part of the card, but it's there and it's nice. I like it, so it gets to be number 4. Alright, so coming in at number 3, we have Buzzsaw Shark, which is a level 4 water fish monster, 1600 attack and 500 defense, and it reads, you can target one water monster you control. Special summon from your deck in defense position one fish monster of the same level as that monster, but with a different name, and if you do, it cannot activate its effects this turn. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn, except Xyz monsters. You can only use this effect of Buzzsaw Shark once per turn. If this card is used for the Xyz summon of a water monster, it can be treated as level 3 or as a level 3 or 5 monster. Okay, so effectively what this is a 1-card engine to make Bahamut Shark and then Toad. When 1-card engines to make negates are pretty good, but it does have a couple drawbacks. The first is that it can only special summon from deck, so if you are going to play this as a 3-card engine plus 1 brick, if you draw that brick, the engine's kind of dead. Whereas other cards like Neospace Connector or Draconnect can summon from hand as well. So it is a bit of a drawback, and also it does lock you into Xyz monsters, which kind of sucks, but I guess it's similar to the Wind Witch engine, which effectively only locked you into Wind extra deck monsters. So it's a similar idea, I guess, to that. I don't know, like it. I could see it maybe having potential as just a splashable engine in a deck, some sort of deck, maybe now or in the future. If water monsters get better Xyz support, I could see this potentially getting more play in the future, or fish monsters. Also having that versatility to be used as a level 3 or level 5 is kind of nice. Like, I don't think that's what it's going to be used for right now, but again, in the future, depending on how support goes, or depending on if waters get better Xyz monsters, and that this could see more play. Coming in at number 2, we have Archnemesis Escados. That's how I believe it's pronounced. It is a light dragon, level 11, 3000 attack, 2500 defense, remember that. And it reads, cannot be normal summon set. Must first be special summoned from your hand by banishing 3 monsters with different types from your graveyard and or face-up field. Cannot be destroyed by card effects. You can declare 1 monster type on the field, destroy all monsters on the field with that type, also until the end of the next turn. Neither player can special summon monsters with that type. You can only use this effect of Archnemesis Escados once per turn. So this card has a lot going for it. Before I get into it, I was thinking about cheating and putting the entire Nemesis archetype here, because I do think they are kind of overlooked, and I think they'd be a great splashable engine depending on the deck. But I feel like just this particular one just stands out so much more than the rest of them do, and just has more going for it than the rest of them do, so that's why I've chosen to put this one here. So anyways, what does it have going for it? It's a light, which is probably the second best attribute in the game. It's a dragon, again one of the best types in the game. It has 3000 attack and 2500 defense, which means it is searchable off the Melody of Awakening Dragon, which is fantastic. And that also fits really well in chaos decks because of its summoning condition, where you just banish 3 monsters with different types from your graveyard and or field. So again, that just fits. It's easy to meet. If I were to compare this to the other Nemesis boss monster, the dark one, that one requires you to banish 3 monsters with different attributes, which is like a little bit harder to do in my opinion, whereas types is a bit easier, I think. This one also has protection, so it cannot be destroyed by card effects, and the floodgate effect, I feel like that's fantastic. So you declare a monster type on the field and destroy everything with that type, and then because of the wording, it says also you don't actually have to destroy a monster of that type to lock both players out of that type until the end of the next turn, which I think is fantastic. So let's say you're playing against, I don't know, you're playing against Orcus, you're going second and you resolve this. Even if they have Ding on field and that protects their field, they're locked out of machines until the end of the next turn, presuming you did call machines, of course, which I think is great. Or again, use this against Salamangreat, call Cyburst, even if they Balance protect, again they're locked out of Cyburst until the end of the next turn. So I think this card is fantastic. It is an ultra rare. I don't think it's too expensive. I think a lot of people are sleeping on this card. Maybe we see some Chaos Thunder Dragon deck come back. I know the deck's kind of dead without Colossus, but maybe this helps make it a bit more playable. So coming in at number 1, we have Fusion Deployment. I'll be honest, I've heard the most chatter about this card compared to everything else on this list, but I feel like it just isn't as much as the other cards that I didn't talk about on this list. So I feel like it's probably borderline underrated, but this is my list and I decided to put it at 1, so if you disagree, you're wrong. Anyways, this card reads, you can reveal 1 fusion monster in your extra deck and special summon from your hand or deck one of the fusion materials whose name is specifically listed on that card. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except fusion monsters the turn you activate this card. You can only activate 1 fusion deployment per turn. So what is the main thing this card has going for it? It's that it can special summon from your deck and it doesn't even negate the effects of that monster that you're summoning, which is phenomenal. There are so many cards in the game that can special summon from deck but negate the effects of that monster, but this one does not. Now mind you, it does lock you into fusion monsters, which I think is why this card isn't going to see play immediately, because there really isn't that much you can summon right now. I think you can maybe play it in heroes and that's kind of neat, but depending on how future support goes, or at least if Konami releases a fusion archetype one day that uses the monsters with specific names in the materials of said fusion monsters, and this archetype is actually good, this card could definitely see a lot of play. I think it definitely has a ton of future potential. If this does drop in price a bit, I would definitely consider picking a bunch of them up. I think it's a fantastic card. It's not going to see a lot of play, but definitely has a lot of potential for the future. Alright guys, so that was the list. Yeah, it's a bit of a different video with everything going on right now. I guess I want to try and do different things. So if you guys want to see other top 5 lists or something else entirely, let me know. I'm open to trying new things. Be sure to check out our sponsor, 401 Games, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.